seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
In the latest trailer for The Last Jedi, we hear Luke state, "I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now." Together with the shocked expression Luke has once he notices the ground crack as Rey is meditating, it's clear that Luke is carrying an exceptional amount of fear with him at the time of Episode 8, causing him to pull away from the galaxy completely and influencing his relationship with Rey. But what exactly is it that Luke fears? In this video expose, I will explain what Luke's greatest fear is and why it will cause him to resist training Rey. Earlier this summer, an Entertainment Weekly cover story defined Luke as the broken warrior, someone who's at their lowest point and who's decided that isolating themselves from the galaxy is preferable to actually joining the fight. After seeing Luke in this week's trailer, it's almost shocking to see just how broken he truly seems at this point in the story. In a lot of ways, I can see Luke's line in the first teaser trailer from April of, "I only know one truth, it's time for the Jedi to end," referring not to a reformation of the Jedi, but to literally bringing the Order to an end and forego training any new students. But what exactly is the source of Luke's fear, and why is it causing him so much inner turmoil to isolate himself from the galaxy, and also potentially hesitate in training Rey? I believe it's important to go back to the first teaser trailer and to the dialogue between Luke and Rey during what seems to be Luke guiding her in meditation.
What do you see?
Light. Darkness. A balance.
It's so much bigger.
As described by Rey and concluded by Luke, we see that they found at some point during the meditation that the balance between the light and dark sides was so much bigger than either single component on its own. Importantly, given these lines between Luke and Rey, the scenes from the recent trailer of Rey training with her lightsaber, and also of Luke being right next to Rey as she meditates, I do believe that we'll see Luke begin to train Rey in Episode 8. However, it will be upon Rey's finding and tapping into this balance between the light and dark, a unified force that stands on its own in totality, that sends Luke back into his isolation, choosing to retreat due to his fear of what may come from the use of this power. The scenes from both trailers so far appear to be showing a tremendous amount of power surrounding Rey as she meditates, with the ground literally cracking around her. Given Luke's shock at this result in the trailer, I can see this once again cause Luke to pull back and end Rey's training in regard to his new philosophy consisting of a balanced and unified force. Therefore, Luke's reference to the raw strength that he's only seen once before isn't referring to the raw strength of a single individual. Rather, the raw strength he's referring to is that which is the result of using the Force in its totality and finding the balance between the light and dark. It's heavily suggested in the trailer that this raw strength had been witnessed before by Luke through his nephew who fell to become Kylo Ren, given the flashback to the destruction of Luke's Jedi Order during Luke's dialogue. In this way, it's perfectly reasonable why Luke would fear the raw strength resulting from finding a balance between light and dark, given what happened to Kylo and his Jedi Order. As a quick aside, if the raw strength Luke is referring to is the power available to those who find a balance between the light and dark and use the Force in its totality, and given that he's only ever seen it once before, it's possible that using the Force in this way is only available to a few Force-sensitive individuals. For example, we know that Kylo was seen by Supreme Leader Snoke as a focal point between the light and dark sides of the Force, thereby making him a unique and ideal apprentice. Rey may also be such a focal point regarding the Force, which would explain why Luke would have only seen them produce the raw strength of wielding the balanced approach to the Force, and no one else within Luke's former Jedi Order. But the key to Luke's fear of what could go wrong when using the Force in its totality, as seen through the actions of Kylo, and potentially with Rey as well, is that these concepts are most likely coming from the set of works that we've now seen in both trailers. I believe that these books were found by Luke during his search for Jedi lore following the events of Return of the Jedi. They could include potential works such as the Journal of the Wills, the collected poems, prayers, and meditations on the Force, or any other countless works from a planet like Jedha, which was a hub for ancient Force-worshipping religious orders that were in some way connected to the ancient Jedi Order. Regardless, these books would be the source of Luke's new understanding that views the Force in its totality, and not merely light and dark. Therefore, Luke doesn't have a lot of practical experience with the teachings that they contain, and thus fears what could happen if he sends Rey down that path, given what happened to Kylo. He knows that the truth regarding the Force is far different than what the Jedi and even the Sith understood, but he doesn't trust himself with the raw power that using the Force's full potential can bring, nor entrusting himself to teach it to others, wherein the galaxy is made worse and not better. I believe that Luke's hesitation to train Rey will cause her to seek out the answers she needs for herself. Although Luke has taken himself out of the fight for control of the galaxy, the events of The Force Awakens has made Rey a part of it with no turning back. Having been able to touch the raw strength that's available through using the totality of the Force, Rey will attempt to teach herself if Luke is unable to. The recent trailer has a wonderful shot of what appears to be Rey discovering the works previously discussed on her own, and I could see Rey attempting to learn from these books containing ancient wisdom regarding the Force herself to defeat the First Order. So there we have it. Why Luke's greatest fear is the consequences that could arise from the raw strength that using the totality of the Force could bring, and why this in turn will cause Luke to hesitate to train Rey. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... for...